Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
An hour of crime drama with the man with the action-packed expense account. Yes, a full hour of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, this time around. And we're going to start off in May 8th, 1960. That's a Sunday. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey in the Phoney Phone Matter.
Johnny Dollar.
Art Engels, International Life and Casualty.
How you doing, Art?
Hey, listen, Johnny, are you free to take something on for us?
Arthur, my boy, as long as a nice, big, wealthy company like yours just can't wait to pay my expense account.
Now, Johnny...
Plus a sizable fee for my superlative services. Okay, what's it all about? Murder? Fraud? Arson?
No.
Okay, then what?
I don't know.
Oh, you want me, but you don't know what for.
That's right, yeah.
Well, that's a switch.
Actually, Johnny, it's one of our very important clients wants you.
Art, that's not a switch.
He has demanded that you and only you be sent over to see him.
But he hasn't told you why.
That's right.
Uh-oh.
Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, the last time I took on one of those I don't know why matters, I got slugged, shot at, and thrown off a bridge.
Well, Johnny...
But okay, Art. I'll run on over and see you.
CBS Radio brings you Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the International Life and Casualty Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut office. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Phoney Phone Matter. I don't really go for these vague assignments, but International has always paid off pretty well. So expense account item one, $1.25 for a taxi over to the office of Art Engels. He was waiting outside the building for me in his car. We took off and headed back across town again. Where to, Art?
Mr. Wendell's office is in the Clay building.
Wendell?
J. Ransom Wendell, the important client I told you about, who wants to see you right away.
But who hasn't told you why he wants to see me?
He hasn't told me.
How important, Art?
Well, he owns and runs the Crown Lithograph operation.
Never heard of it.
When he inherited that plant, it must have been, 40 years ago. It was just a small outfit, not worth more than $400,000 or $500,000.
Oh, you call that small?
And now it's worth millions.
Then Wendell is loaded.
He certainly is, Johnny.
And that means he carries a lot of insurance.
One of our biggest accounts. Life insurance on himself.
How much?
$500,000.
Wow.
Insurance on his wife for the same figure. Policies on his home, his cars, plant, personnel. Well, I make no bones about it. Even if his calling for you is only to satisfy some sort of a whim, we can't afford to turn him down.
Some sort of a whim?
Yeah.
You mean it could be?
Yeah. Johnny, he's so used to having his own way. You know, because of all his money.
Oh, wait now. Hold everything.
Yeah.
J.R. Wendell. Alimony Wendell?
That is our boy.
Married 5, 6, 7 times?
At one.
And always to some delectable dish he picked out of the chorus line of a nightclub on some Broadway show?
That's the one, Johnny. Marries him, finds out all they want is his money, pays him off, then goes ahead and does the same thing all over again.
Oh, brother. But according to the newspaper stories a couple of years ago, he swore he was through with those gold diggers, that he'd never again pay off another one of them.
Mm-hmm. So what happens?
What happens?
9, 10 months ago, he puts a ring on that dancer, LaVon Laverne.
Yikes.
Whereupon she promptly puts a ring in his nose and starts making the usual dent in his bank account.
Oh, now you don't think his wanting to see me has anything to do with his trouble with this LaVon Laverne? Oh, now, Art, I want to...
We'll soon find out, Johnny, because this is his office building.
Wendell's office was huge. The walls were paneled in rich mahogany hung with fine oil paintings. Wall-to-wall carpeting so thick you sank into it almost up to your ankles. Fine antique furniture, including his tremendous desk. And the man himself really fooled me. He must have been, about 60. But instead of a snide, leering old wolf, he was tall, straight as a ramrod, with clear, frank blue eyes. Yeah, the smart, alert kind of man you'd expect to head up a multi-million-dollar operation. The kind you wouldn't expect to have fallen for a whole line of cheap chorus girls. But then, of course, you never can tell.
Yes, Mr. Engels, Mr. Dollar. It's my wife, Levon, that I'm concerned about. But since it has nothing whatsoever to do with her insurance at the moment.
Well, now, Mr. Wendell.
Engels, I'm much obliged to you for bringing Dollar to me. If I need you further, I'll let you know.
Well, if I can be of any help in this
No.
matter.
Dollar and I can handle this alone, so you just run along.
Okay. Whatever you say.
I'll be in touch.
Yeah, so I, Art.
All right, Johnny. You let me know just...
Goodbye. All right, Dollar.
Well, now, look, if there's no insurance involved...
Oh, there isn't. I hope there won't be. I'm quite sure there won't be. Nonetheless...
You say this concerns your wife?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Well, far be it from me, Mr. Wendell, but I had a notion you were through with marrying all these pretty young girls.
I made some bad mistakes, Dollar. 7 of them, to be exact. Cost me a lot of money, a lot of heartache. Took a lot out of me. Well, let's face it, I pretty much made an old fool of myself. Instead of paying off those girls, those leeches, to get free of them, I should have... I at least profited by the mistakes I made.
What do you mean, sir?
I mean, Levon. Young, beautiful. Maybe she is no mental giant, but she's made me a good, a loving, a devoted wife.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Mr. Wendell. But now what's the problem?
Fear.
Fear?
Yes, Levon's.
But fear of what, sir?
Fear, Mr. Dollar, of being murdered.
May 8th, 1960, Bob Bailey as yours truly, Johnny Dollar, on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Hi, this is Kyle Horvath with the White Pine County Tourism and Recreation Board. If you want to get away from the big cities and get back to nature this summer, give us a call at 775-289-3720 or visit us online at elinevada.net. There's so much to do and see I can't mention it in 30 seconds, but check out our website and you'll see what Nevada is really all about. elinevada.net or follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Give us a call at 775-289-3720 or visit us online at elinevada.net.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
The half-hour episodes of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, which actually were only 25 minutes long, and then you take out commercials, and they were probably about 22, 21 minutes long. And even though that the quarter-hour shows 5 days a week, you had to take out some time for recaps, you still had over an hour of time to make those shows fleshed out. And so the half-hour shows didn't quite have the depth or character development that the quarter-hour shows did. So there you go. Just my thoughts, and some people do echo those thoughts, but we'll see. Let's get back to yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Phoney Phone Matter, May 8th, 1960.
And now the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Now, wait, Mr. Wendell. Your wife, Levon, she's been threatened with murder?
Threatened? No.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
But, Dollar, she's fearful that someone is going to kill her. It's been going on for several weeks now.
Why?
I don't know. All I know is that she's become terribly upset over this idea, this fear. I've called on you to see if you can determine for me if there are grounds for all this apprehension.
What if she hasn't received any direct threats?
She hasn't, at least none that I know of. Well, she says that she hasn't.
Well, no, look,
Something
wait.
has got into her, gotten her into this unfortunate state of mind. I don't know what it is. But I hope you can find out for me.
Hey, you sure you shouldn't have called in a psychiatrist?
Have one of those stupid, money-grubbing head shrinkers ask her a lot of silly questions?
Oh, no, wait. Some of them are pretty good. Can do a lot of good in a situation like this.
Dollar. Because I know, Levon. I know what her reaction would be. She's nervous and upset enough about these fears as it is. But you, posing as an old friend, as our guest there at the lodge.
Your lodge, Mr. Wendell?
Yes, over on the Peekabuck River above Farmington. It's a little place we keep as a sort of retreat, a place to get away from it all.
I see.
When I left the house here in town a few minutes ago, I told Levon we'd meet her there for lunch and start the weekend a little early.
We, huh?
I told her you're an old friend. Come east for a bit of a vacation.
Oh, from where?
Los Angeles, Hollywood.
Oh.
You are familiar with the West Coast, I hope.
Oh, enough to talk about it intelligently.
Good. Well, then why don't we leave right away?
Mr. Wendell...
We'll stop at your apartment so you can pick up some clothes, then we'll head on up to the lodge. Excuse me.
But now look here,
yes,
sir,
Mr. Wendell?
Miss Barker, have my car brought around, please.
Yes, sir.
I'll be gone until Monday.
Have a pleasant weekend, Mr. Wendell.
Thank you. Well?
Well, I still don't quite understand what you expect me to do up there at your lodge.
Dollar, I have known about you for years. I have great respect for your talents. Not only as a crime investigator, but because of your ability to deal with people. Get very close to them.
Ah. People like your charming and beautiful wife, Mr. Wendell? Oh, no.
I'm very serious, Dollar. You have a knack of inspiring confidence, of getting things out of people that... Well, you see, I follow the reports of your cases on the radio very closely.
Yeah, well...
I'm convinced that you can be of more help than any psychiatrist could possibly.
And also, and let's be frank about this.
Yes?
That is, if your wife's fears are justified.
Well?
You also think I might be handy to have around as a bodyguard, right?
Yes, Dollar, that's right.
We drove over to my place and I packed a couple of bags. I also picked up the old faithful 38 caliber lemon squeezer. We drove east on Route 4 to Farmington, then north along the western side of the Peekabuck River, and finally east again on a private road. Meantime, as we drove along, I questioned Mr. Wendell further.
No, Dollar, I can think of no one who might want to harm her, of whom she ought to be worried or afraid.
Well, there must be some basis for this fear of hers.
Of course, before I met Levon and married her, when she was dancing in nightclubs, I'm afraid not always the better ones.
Well, a lot of those joints are run by racketeers.
Yes. Her contacts in those days were not always with the best of people.
Something to work on, isn't it?
Oh, but now here we are. You like my little place?
Oh, you call this little?
We like it because it doesn't require any servants, and we can...
What's the matter?
Nothing. Only it's well after noon, and I don't see Levon's car anywhere.
Well, maybe she's been here and left to do some shopping or something.
Come along, Dollar. Let's go in and see.
Well, I suppose 10 rooms is rather small to a man like Mr. Wendell. But I didn't have much chance to look around because of his concern over his wife. He went through the motions of pouring a couple of drinks.
I just don't understand this, Dollar. It's almost 1 o'clock. She's always on time. Will you excuse me? I'm going to see if something's held her up at home. Oh, Levon. I'm just silly, I suppose, but I'm here at the lodge with Mr. Dollar, and I was beginning to get worried about you. Why, you weren't here when we... The visitor. Anybody I know? Vonnie, you sound worried about something. What is it, dear? Vonnie? Vonnie? Hello? Hello? Hello?
What's wrong, Mr.
Vonnie, that sound I heard, what was it? Hello? Hello? Vonnie, what is it? What?
All right, now, Mr. Wendell, what happened?
I don't know, Mr. Dollar. She gave a strange kind of a kind of a gas.
Yeah.
I believe she dropped the telephone. There was a thump, a heavy thump.
Okay. Operator, give me police headquarters in Hartford. Make it homicide. By the time we get back to Wendell's home in Hartford, the police were there, Lieutenant Billy Walker in charge. The body of Levon Wendell lay sprawled on the floor next to a sofa. The telephone had fallen to the floor beside her. One of Walker's men was dusting it for prints. Another, obviously the medic, had removed a rather gruesome-looking knife from the middle of her back. Wendell had slumped into a chair, and he sat there staring as though he couldn't quite believe it. His face was white, and he kept clenching and unclenching his hands with such force I was sure his palms were bleeding. The only sound he made was an occasional half-smothered sob.
Must have killed her instantly, Dollar. Doc here says the knife went clear through into her heart.
Yeah. Think you can trace that knife, Lieutenant?
Oh, I don't have to. It came from that collection up there over the fireplace. Johnny, that could indicate it was done by somebody she knew that she let in here.
You mean somebody who came unprepared to kill her?
Right. No, the back door was left ajar, by the way.
Any servants in this place?
We're way ahead of you.
What?
Well, to begin with, they're an old couple. Neither one of them could have had the strength to do this.
Oh, where are they?
They were given the weekend off.
How do you know that?
One of the boys who knows them saw them at the station early this morning.
Oh.
Said they were heading down to New York to see some relatives.
Yes, we let them go, Lieutenant, because we planned to be up in the country for the weekend.
Okay, Mr. Wendell.
Only we hadn't. If only there'd been someone here when whoever did this.
Easy now, sir.
A visitor, she said. She told me over the phone it was a visitor.
Yeah,
if only she'd been able to tell me who it was before. Dollar, you've got to find him. You've got to find this killer.
Don't worry, Mr. Wendell. We'll do everything we
Spare no
possibly...
expense. I'll do anything. I'll give you anything you want, but you must find him.
Yeah, your attorney, Mr. Wendell.
Dollar, I don't care what it costs or what you have to do. My attorney?
He'll have to be notified of this immediately. Who is he?
Speidel. Harold Old Speidel. I'll take care of it as soon as I can pull myself together.
Now, look, you can't be of any help at the moment, so why don't you just sit down and, better still pour yourself a drink.
A drink?
Yeah, do you good. Go ahead.
Yes, perhaps you're right. Perhaps...
Lieutenant.
Oh, wait a second, Johnny. You sure of that, Mac? Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Sure of what?
Johnny, the only prints on that phone are hers. You'd think in a household like this, unless somebody wiped them off just in case.
Of course, Lieutenant. Look, I'll see you later.
What?
I borrowed Mr. Wendell's car without bothering to ask him for it. I drove to the office of lawyer Speidel, all on a big fat hunch. And I thought he might be able to help me with a better understanding of the whole Wendell setup. You know something? I don't think he'll ever know how much he did help me.
Well, as long as you were there with him at the lodge and heard the phone conversation with her.
Why, yes.
Of course, it's too bad, Levon going like this, but, Dollar, I can't say I'm at all surprised. And, by the way of being cold-blooded about it, well, it saves Wendell the trouble and expense of another divorce, more alimony.
Yeah.
Dollar, he is one of the most clever, the most ruthless businessmen I've ever known. Yet these girls, one after another, have been able to take him for so much.
And you don't think this one would have lasted?
I'm certain of it.
But I thought he and Levon were getting along pretty well.
Oh, I suppose he may have thought so. I don't see why, though.
Oh, what do you mean?
Some of the others were pretty expensive while he was married to them. They all were afterward, but none of them compared with Levon. Did you ever see one of her lavish nightclub parties?
No.
Why, the other night, last Tuesday, I just happened to be in the Purple Cat over in... Now, mind you, I'm not a nightclub habitué.
Mr. Speidel, I think I'd better be going.
Oh? But I thought perhaps I could be of help to you.
Oh, you've been plenty of help.
After all, I know the names of many of the gangsters with whom this girl was formerly associated.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Any one of whom might be a possible suspect.
More so than Mr. Wendell himself?
Wendell himself?
Think that over.
But you were with him there at the lodge. You heard him talking to her on the phone when it happened.
That's so?
Of course. You yourself are his perfect alibi.
Am I? Yeah. That telephone conversation. So item 2 on the expense account is 10 cents for a phone call to my favorite gal friend, Betty Lewis. As I expected, she was willing to go along with a little stunt I had in mind that might blow this whole murder case wide open. By the time I got back to Wendell's home, the police and his wife's body were gone. And he'd calmed down all right. There were several empty glasses at his elbow.
You were right, Dollar. I've pulled myself together enough to realize that what's happened has happened. Oh, I forgot to call my attorney as you suggested. I'll do it right away.
No. Wait, I want to talk to you.
Yes?
Besides, I'm expecting a call myself on that phone.
Oh, you made some progress?
Yeah, quite a bit, I think.
Well, good.
I understand that as a businessman, you're pretty ruthless. Doesn't sound nervous upset to me.
What?
And we'll get to the conclusion in a few moments here. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, May 8th, 1960. We really only think of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, as getting underway in 1955, with Bob Bailey taking the series over in the quarter-hour shows and then later in the half-hour shows. But I have to tell you that the show goes all the way back to 1949 with Charles Russell, Edmund O'Brien, and John Lund. And quite frankly, the earlier shows do not measure up to the quality that we got from 1955 until 1962. And if I have a moment, I'll talk a little about that when we come back. From May 8th, 1960, yours truly, Johnny Dollar. We have more Johnny Dollar straight ahead following these important words from your favorite station when Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues. I got a tinkle here.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332. Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you. And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required. Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox here on your favorite station. When yours truly, Johnny Dollar, was moved to New York in an economy move by CBS in 1960, the role was initially taken on by child actor Frank Reddick. As a child, he was in Let's Pretend. He was in the soap opera This Is Nora Drake, the soap opera Hilltop House alongside Jan Miner, in Pepper Young's Family, and a couple of other soap operas. He did this. Then he appeared on some CBS radio mystery theaters, and beyond that, did not have a huge career in radio or television, for that matter. After he took over or left the show was taken over by Mandel Kramer. If that name sounds familiar, he was probably best known, apart from what he did here, as his role in Counter Spy, a fictionalization of an FBI CIA agency, and that it wasn't a huge role, but he performed it well. And he was the last Johnny Dollar from 1961 to 1962. Now the conclusion of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, May 8th, 1960, the Phoney Phone Matter.
And you know, that phone conversation there at your lodge was pretty smart.
Will you please start making sense, Dollar?
I was pretty dumb. I should have realized you couldn't have dialed this number from up here.
Just a minute.
Sorry, I want to get this call.
Dollar!
Hello?
Hi, hon. This is Betty.
Yeah, this is Johnny Dollar.
Oh, then it is for you.
Now, do I gotta hang up and leave you with an empty line the way you said I should?
Yes.
Oh, gee.
Yes.
Okay. Bye, sweet.
Yes, I'm alone here. What? I'll give you $500 if your info is accurate.
What is it, Mr. Dollar?
No, $500 is the limit. Unless you're willing to appear and testify in court. Okay, then it's $1,000. Come on over here and I'll give it to you. If you can give me enough facts right now to prove you were here.
What goes on there, Dollar?
Oh, you actually saw him, huh? Through which window? Yeah? Side of the room? Yeah, I can see it from here.
Who are you talking
And
to?
you actually saw him take the knife from his collection over the... Yeah? Yeah. Then he what? The back door? Yeah, I got it. His own car, huh? Well, sure, to his office in time to meet me there.
Hang up that phone, Dollar.
Excuse me, I've...
Hang it up.
Yeah, sure.
So somebody saw me. Somebody saw me, killer. But when that informer comes here to collect the money you promised
Mr. Wendell.
Dollar, he's going to get exactly what you're going to get. A bullet in the head. You see this gun?
Well, now, Mr. Wendell, my name isn't Matt Dillon.
What?
But if you think you can outdraw me... Wow. Well, I hope Wendell never finds out that my phone conversation with a mythical informer was just as phony as his. His talk with his wife after he killed her had left her there at the telephone in his home. Had set me up for an alibi at the lodge. But then what's the difference where he's going? Expense account total? $1.35. Oh, let's talk about the fee on this one. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Now, here is our star to tell you about next week's program.
Next week, one of my ever-loving gals comes into the case. And believe me, things get complicated. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, originates in Hollywood and is written, produced, and directed by Jack Johnstone. Heard in our cast were Virginia Gregg, Harry Bartell, Marvin Miller, Dick Crenna, and Lou Merrill. Be sure to join us next week, same time and station, for another exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This is John Wall speaking. Suspense, next on the CBS Radio Network.
From Sunday, May 8th, 1960, yours truly, Johnny Dollar, on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Radio? Why should I advertise on radio? There's nothing to look at, no pictures.
Listen, you can do things on radio you couldn't possibly do on TV.
That'll be the day.
All right, watch this. Okay, people, and now when I give you the cue, I want the 700-foot mountain of whipped cream to roll into Lake Michigan, which has been drained and filled with hot chocolate. Then the Royal Canadian Air Force will fly overhead towing a 10-ton maraschino cherry, which will be dropped into the whipped cream to the cheering of 25,000 extras. All right, cue them out. Cue the Air Force. Cue the maraschino cherry. Okay, 25,000 cheering extras. Now, you want to try that on television?
Well...
You see, radio is a very special medium because it stretches the imagination.
Doesn't television stretch the imagination?
Up to 27 inches, yes.
She was born in a humble shack amidst the lemon groves of Goleta, California.
Mommy, don't cry. You know what they say? When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. I was gonna say life sucks, and then you die. But I like yours better.
And with that, Alexandra Johnson launched her lemonade stand.
Lemonade, nickel a glass.
Every day, even during the frigid California winters, a bone-chilling 72 degrees, you could find her.
You can have it sour, you can have it sweet. Little girl's lemonade will knock you off your feet.
The little girl with the sour brew wanted more, national distribution, franchises, and so she rolled out a well-budgeted advertising campaign.
Me and the rest of the dockwakers only drink little girl lemonade.
She was made president of the International Sour Drink Association and chosen to give the keynote speech at their convention.
You all set with words of wisdom, honey? You know what they say, Mommy. Always advertise so consumers think of your product first. I was gonna say never swallow a lemon seed or a watermelon on your tummy.
This fabricated but interesting story is to remind you that it's called advertising and it works.
Put your message on this national advertising platform by emailing classicradiotheater@gmail.com. classicradiotheater@gmail.com. Like I said, it was difficult to develop and wrap up a whole Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story in 20 minutes, which is about what you had left in that show, totally in development. So when you had all that time to develop them in 5 quarter hours, which ended up to about 1 hour of full time, you came up with some pretty good episodes. And that's what we're going to hear right now. Part 2 of the 5-part Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, The Silver Blue Matter, Juvenile Delinquency, May 8th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
This is Red. Red Wallace, remember?
Sure. You run that lunchroom across the street from the warehouse that was robbed last night.
Yeah, that's right. Now look, Dollar, supposing I tell you what I know about it, and what's going to happen to me?
Nothing. As long as you weren't mixed up in it yourself.
No. I mean the papers and the cops. If it gets out I talked to you, I won't last 24 hours.
I think I can take care of that. What do you know about it, Red?
That depends on what it's worth to you.
I see.
I'll have to sell out, get away from this section, so I'll need some dough. You follow me?
All right. I'll see you taken care of. Now, just what is it
No, it ain't safe. I'm talking from a booth. You stay right there at your hotel. I'll see you in a half hour.
Right.
Just you. No cops. Yeah, that's right, Mr. Beck.
Mr. Beck?
6 quarts of milk and 2 pounds of butter. Sure, right away. Thanks, Mr. Beck. Goodbye.
Hello. Hello.
Tonight, and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. From Special Investigator Johnny Dollar, location Los Angeles, California, to the Home Office, Mono Guarantee Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut. Assignment, The Silver Blue Matter. Expense account continued. Item 4, 20 cents, a phone call to my friend Lieutenant Garcia of the L.A. Police, and a call to Queen of the Angels Hospital. Albert Chrisman, the night watchman who was slugged by the gang of teenage hoodlums during the warehouse robbery, was still unconscious. And Chrisman, unless Red Weller was ready to talk now, was the only lead I had toward finding $100,000 worth of silver blue mink coats. I waited 2 hours and a half for Red Weller, but he didn't show. Item 5, $2.85, taxi to the warehouse district at the south end of the railroad yards. It was night by now, and the area was almost deserted. A lost, lonely district, shabby and worn even in the softening darkness, and haunted now by fear. The only lights in the block were those shining from the windows of the warehouse office and from Weller's lunchroom across the street. Good evening.
Hello. What would you like, sir?
Cup of coffee, I guess.
Oh, you're lucky.
Just made some fresh.
Good.
Would you like some cream?
No, thanks. No, that'll be fine.
Is it foggy out?
Yeah, a little. Not bad, though. Hey, this coffee's all right. You're a good cook.
Thanks. The boss always has me make it when I'm here. He says I do it better than he does.
I'll bet you do. Is the boss around, by the way?
No, he called me and said he had to go out. That's why I'm working. I'm on in the daytime mostly.
Do you have any idea where he might be?
No, he had to go somewhere, I guess. What'd you want to see him about?
He wanted to see me. Do you know where he lives?
Oh, well, he's got an apartment over on Marina. It's about 8 blocks from here.
Think he'd be there?
No, he wasn't going home. He was going out somewhere. He acted kind of strange. I don't know what he was going to do. May I ask just what business you're in?
Insurance.
Oh.
I'm a special investigator.
What do you mean?
I'm working for the company that insured those furs.
Oh.
The furs that were stolen night before last from the warehouse across the street. Something wrong?
Oh, no. No, of course not. I don't know what you mean.
Oh? Can I help you gather up that silverware?
Oh, no, that's all right. I don't know what happened. Just careless, I guess.
Yeah. Do you live around here somewhere?
Well, yes, on Dalton, 3 blocks up.
What's your name?
Carla Monte. Why are you asking?
How long have you worked here, Carla?
About a year.
Do many teenagers hang out here?
What do you mean?
Kids, 17, 18, 19. Do many of them come in here for coffee, hamburgers?
Well, sometimes, yeah. I've never noticed much.
Know any of them?
No. I don't know any of their names.
Are you sure?
I don't ask them their names. Did I ask you your name?
It's Dollar, Johnny Dollar.
Well, I still didn't ask you. If you want to tell me your...
What are you scared of, Carla?
Nothing. I'm not scared.
You're not?
Of course not. Why would I be scared?
For the same reason your boss is, Red Weller. He was scared when he talked to me this afternoon and when he phoned me later.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yes, you do. That's why he didn't come to my hotel. He was afraid to. And why did you drop that silverware when I told you who I am? Because you're scared half to death.
No.
What's the matter with you people down here? What are you doing, crawling into a hole because a half-grown gang of hoodlums starts throwing their weight around?
Well, you don't understand.
Then suppose you tell me about it. Do you think that's any kind of an answer in the long run? To pull the covers up over your eyes and let them do as they please and just keep hoping they'll leave you alone? All you're doing is making things worse.
Oh, you don't know how it is. You don't have to live here.
No, I don't have to live here, but I know how it is. Because I've seen it in other places where the mobs managed to take over. And if you let it happen here, then you'll really have something to be scared of.
Maybe they've already taken over.
Who? A bunch of kids with a gripe on, running in packs so they feel safe? Is that the kind of mob you mean, Carla?
No.
They're not a mob yet, but they will be if they're not stopped. It seems to me you'd have some sense of responsibility to them, if nobody else.
Maybe if other people had a sense of responsibility, kids wouldn't have to grow up in a place like this. Have you ever thought of that, Mr. Dollar?
Yeah, I've thought of it. But it doesn't hold water.
You'd think so if you lived here.
All right, so it's a slum district. And sure, these kids start out with a strike on them. But that's a pretty weak excuse for joining up at criminal bands and terrorizing a whole neighborhood. For slugging people and looting warehouses.
Yes, I know.
Most of them find other answers. It's only a small minority that turns to crime. But if you let them get away with it, others will join them and they'll grow until finally it's too late. Well, Carla, still nothing to tell me?
I can't. I just can't.
I see. Well, there's a quarter for the coffee. Keep the change. Good night, Carla.
Wait.
Yeah?
Mr. Dollar, suppose I knew someone who might be able to help you. I mean, who might know something about the robbery. Innocently, of course. If you talk to this person and they agreed to help you, could you keep them out of it?
Depends on the circumstances. I do all I could, that much I promise.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
You're not sure of what?
Of you. Oh, I know better when I stop and think, but I've lived in this neighborhood too long. Lived with these people and...
I'm bound by the law like any other citizen. And I won't break it to help somebody cover up a criminal act. But I figure it's up to me sometimes to decide whether a thing is a criminal act. And if a person seems to deserve it, well, I can be pretty lenient.
You promise what you just said?
Yes, I promise.
I've got to trust you. I've got to trust someone.
Do you know such a person, Carla?
Yes.
Do you know where to find them?
I think so. Well, I'm sure they'll be at one of 2 or 3 places. Not very far from here.
And who is this person?
Someone who grew up around here. A boy. 19.
What boy?
My brother.
Expense account item 7, $2.70, taxi. We went first to Carla's apartment where she lived with her brother, but there was no one there. Then we checked out a drive-in a few blocks away, a teenage hangout. No luck. Finally, we tried a pool hall down south of the yards, just off Alameda Street. It was our last hope.
I know he comes here. It's not a good place for him, but a lot of the other kids do, too. And he wants to belong.
Yeah, sure. Everybody does, in one way or another.
Oh, gosh, it had been different if our folks had lived, but our boy just won't take orders from his sister.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
Thanks. Gosh, let's see. Well, if he's not here, then I just don't know where he... Oh, wait.
There you go.
There he is. Down near the corner. The one with the dark curly hair.
All right, come on. Take it easy. Just tell him I'm a friend of yours and you want to talk to him. We'll get him off to one side.
Oh, whatever you say. Eddie!
Yeah? Well, what are you doing here, Carla?
Eddie, this is Mr. Dollar. A friend of mine. I wonder if we could talk to you for a moment.
What about?
Well,
you know better than to come in a joint like this.
But I want to talk to you, Eddie.
Talk to me at home. Now, go on, get her out of here, will you, mister?
It might be a good idea if you listen to her first.
I thought it was her that wanted to talk to me. Go on, get her out of here.
All right, if you'll go with us.
What for? I like it here. It's a nice place.
Yeah? At least it's better than San Quentin.
What are you talking about?
A warehouse robbery, $100,000 worth of furs. I understand you may know something about it. Innocently, of course.
I thought you said this guy was a friend of yours.
Well, that's right, Eddie. He's just...
Who is he?
He's an insurance investigator.
Oh, so that's the pitch.
He's promised to help, Eddie. If you'll tell him whatever you know, he'll protect you.
Knock it off, Carla. Now, look, mister. I don't know nothing about nothing. I never even heard of no fur robbery. So take her with you and get out of here.
This may be your last chance to get off before the boat sinks, Eddie.
You're not leaving, huh? All right, then I'll leave.
Eddie!
Let him go. We can't force him to talk.
Oh, no, Mr. Dollar. I don't understand him.
I do. Item 8, 10 cents. Phone call from the pool hall to Lieutenant Garcia at police headquarters. He said there was no change in Albert Chrisman's condition yet. He was still holding on, and he still hadn't talked. But there had been another new development, a big one. And when I joined Carla in the taxi outside, she knew it by the look on my face.
What's wrong, Mr. Dollar?
Now, look. How sure are you that your brother wasn't mixed up in that robbery?
Well,
I want the truth.
I'm afraid he was mixed up in it.
Then brace yourself, Carla. Your boss, Red Weller, who was going to tell me what he knew about it, was found murdered in an alley an hour ago.
Now, here's our star to tell you about tomorrow's intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, a lonely, broken-hearted girl, a blood-stained shirt, and a fight with a cornered rat. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly,
Truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by Les Crutchfield, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
May 8th, 1956, yours truly, Johnny Dollar on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Please thank this radio station and support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. And if you miss a day, you don't have to miss a single show. You can find our shows on demand anytime at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Amazon. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We appreciate it very, very much. And of course, you can find all of our shows at our webpage, classicradio.stream. You can also learn more about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can find our social media links, and you can also contact me there at classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream. Have yourself a great day. Please tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.